Big up, big up, big up. Welcome to the Liverpool 12th Man Show. We are joined by Baz and also by JK. And we were all just kind of talking backstage, watching. I'm watching this in the background. Hopefully I got it muted enough, or not muted enough, but like low enough volume that it's not picking up. But I got the Super Cup on in the background. Bayern Munich is up 1-0. Maybe that's what JK is watching right now too, since he's on mute. And Baz, how are you doing today?
I'm all good, man. Thank you for having me. Big up to yourself and big up to JK and big up to the chat. I'm so happy the season started and we got 3 points. And I'm good. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, that was the big thing, is getting the 3 points. So I'm glad to see that you're making out all good. Big up to Lee. Big up to the Dustin, the legend himself. Big up. Trap Joe, good win, definitely. Good to see you as well. I would like to start off by saying welcome back. Welcome back to the show, everyone that's joining us. What a way to open the season at Anfield. Oh, JK's with us. Big up, JK. You there?
Yeah, big up, bro.
Yeah, big up, JK.
But bless up, Baz, as well. Nice to see you, bro.
You too, bro.
Yeah. What I was just getting into is what a way to open the season at Anfield. A 6-goal thriller that had it all. Liverpool 4, obviously Bournemouth 2. Now this wasn't just another opening day. This was a night of tributes, of emotions, of controversy, and of course of drama. We saw Liverpool storm to a 2-0 lead, get dragged back by a defiant Bournemouth through Antoine Semenyo. Antoine, I think it is. Antoine Semenyo.
Yeah, Antoine.
And then rescued at the death by a player many had written off. His name is Feddy. There's how many, I don't know how many different versions of that's Amore I've heard by trying to like mix in Federico or Chiesa. That's Chiesa. That's something like that, I guess, right? And to top it off, we had Mohamed Salah muted all night. Still found a way to write himself into the history books with his record-breaking 10th opening day goal. But it wasn't perfect, people. We all will admit that. I think far from it. Defense looked shaky. VAR embarrassed itself early. Just got this, ripped that Band-Aid off right from the very get. You thought refereeing and VAR was going to be like on point this year? Gotcha.
Gotcha. They didn't waste time.
Didn't waste any time for that one. And we also saw we also got to see, unfortunately, something that we don't want to see in football, and that was we had to stop the game because of some racist abuse by and someone from our fan base. And that was unfortunate, and that is what I've been stressing. It was so interesting because we had the Crystal Palace incident happen. I definitely went on, a little bit of a soapbox rant about how every one of us represents all of us, basically. So if anything, try to do your best in being on your best behavior, on your showing class, basically. Because again, anyone and everyone will take that one person and try to make it seem as though that is everyone for your fan base. So we have to hold ourselves to a higher regard, at least in my opinion. But unfortunately, a certain individual did not find that as being his belief. But an emotional night. A night of highs and lows, and we are going to cover it all for you, front to back. So let's just get into it. We got Baz, we got JK. We might have some others joining us, but for right now, it's just the fearsome threesome right here. So hopefully we can do our duty and get it done. So let's just start off with the game recap, by the way. And before I do, let me just say shout out to Eric, Trudon, Trap Joe, Mark A, Red for Life, big up, big up. Make sure I didn't just tuned in. Yeah. So here's how it unfolded. Hugo Ekitike on his debut got us all off the mark in the 37th minute. It was a confident finish. His second in 2 games. He capitalized on a Bournemouth mistake, which was fantastic, because it doesn't matter if it's beautiful play or not, just score the goal. The kind of moment that instantly makes a new signing feel at home, certainly, because you get you score at home, you feel the beauty of the game and everything else. Then right after halftime, Cody Gakpo doubled the lead with a brilliant solo drive. Was assisted by actually Ekitike too, finishing it into the bottom corner. It's 2-0, people. All of a sudden, everyone's feeling like, okay, this is going to be an easy affair, right? Oh, we got this taken care of. It's cruising time. But no, Bournemouth weren't here to be passengers. Semenyo, after dealing with disgusting abuse, like I said earlier in the half, responded in the best way possible for himself, at least. First, he slotted one past Allison to make it 2-1. And then in the 76th minute, he sprinted from his own half to smash home the equalizer. Could have possibly squared it to his teammate, but decided to put it into the goal himself. 2 goals in 12 minutes. Anfield was stunned. I know a lot of us were too. We were all this, like, I know watching the game from home, it was something where we were just like, oh my goodness, what are we doing? We can't drop points at home. We got to get, how important it is for us to get points from the very beginning. So we looked like we were on the ropes, we looked like definitely on the ropes. And then that's Amore showed up. That's Chiesa, the forgotten man, showed up and said, hold my espresso, hold my cappuccino, actually. I'll be right back, right? And he's had a rough year because he hasn't been getting any real respect from this coach. And that's just me. That's just my opinion, at least. Many assumed he had no future with this club, already wrote him off. Maybe even said that he lost a step or wasn't worthy of Liverpool level. But he got off that bench, buries the winner in the 88th minute. The absolute bedlam that erupted in Anfield made you just want, like, as in, it felt like I was there, but I can only imagine being there with the absolute, just surprise and just absolute pride that you saw for the young man, or for Chiesa to have scored that goal. It was something that was beautiful. Then Salah, because of course it has to be Salah on opening day, puts the game to bed in stoppage time with classic slalom and finish. Liverpool 4, Bournemouth 2. But one that left us with plenty to think about, I think. I'm going to ask the panel. Big up to those that are joining us as well again. I'm going to ask the panel, was this a champion's performance? Finding a way even when struggling? Or was this a wake-up call that Liverpool's defense could undo everything if we don't get it together this season? I'll ask that to JK, since Bass is on mute.
Sure, bro. Nice one for the recap and that. But for me yesterday, bro, it was a game of 2 halves again. I think first half we were more under control. I think McAllister Szoboszlai was sort of running the game. I just feel he had everything. It was a sort of opener as a neutral is what you want to see. The champions take 2 goals up. the other guys come back and make it 2-2, and everyone's like fucking jumping up and down. Because I've seen a few guys do like watch-alongs, like United and Arsenal fans, and they were celebrating like it was their team
Goodness.
playing. You know what I mean, bro? And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to see no Liverpool fan doing that. No watch-along and celebrating like that, because that's for me embarrassing. It ain't your team, bro. Get out of here. Anyway,
Mhm.
for us to come back, you just put them back down to earth, bro. So that was a good thing, and I think it showed a bit of character that we got back into the game. There weren't that long left, and we showed a bit of fight. And for me, Chiesa coming in, so happy for the lad, so happy, man. And then Salah wrapping it up, bro. That's what he does, you know. That's what I say about Salah. I don't want to hear anyone talk rubbish about Salah. Oh, too much game time, this, that, and the other. Salah is a guy. He won't do nothing for 95 minutes, and in the 96th, he'll get the winner or score. You know, and that's what he's. And I don't care. He's got a free pass for me, but Salah can play how he wants. I don't care. The guy's doing everything for this team. And same goes for Virgil and Alisson. You know, them three guys there can do what they want. And I think when I see disrespect coming their way, I'm thinking these guys don't deserve having these guys at our club. You know, Salah could have played better yesterday. Don't get me wrong, but he wrapped the game up. Because imagine they had another chance to make it 3-3 at the end. There was 2 minutes left after that. After Chiesa's goal, I think there was about 2-3 minutes left, and they could have got an equaliser. You know, you didn't know what could happen. So Salah's scoring was sound. He weren't missing for 95 minutes, but he wasn't involved. Like he had a few shots and stuff, but he weren't like a classic Salah performance. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he's goal at the end, beautiful.
Mark A saying A and B to that one. Okay, all right. Red for Life saying it is a champion's mentality. Okay, Baz is saying in the chat that it's a champion's mentality. Tell me why you think so, Baz.
When you're not playing your best to still be able to win the game and dig in deep, like the 3-2 came at 88th minute, literally a few minutes before stoppage time. So we still got that mentality, which is brilliant. And considering we've obviously brought in new players and stuff like that, who some of them are champions, Frimpong and Florian Wirtz, but I mean, we still had the mentality to go out there and to win. And when you look at it in terms of scoreline, 4-2 doesn't look too bad. If it was 3-2, people would be like, okay. Salah's obviously a man on a mission as well, like records. This boy is just smashing records all the time. So I think obviously in terms of that, we haven't lost that, which is great based on that game. However, there are a little, I wouldn't say they're concerning, but I'd say more along the lines that, we definitely need to look at our balance a bit better. Because even though Szoboszlai and McAllister did a pretty good job, they are, I think they're more offensive-minded players, aren't they? You've got them. You've got obviously someone like Frimpong. Then you've got Wirtz and Ekitike, Salah, Cody Gakpo. They're all guys that want to go forward and score goals. And then what it does, it leaves us exposed slightly at the back. And it's not concerning, but we just need to obviously maybe look at that. And to be fair, we missed Gravenberch in those last two games. To be fair, he's someone that would sit back and just soak things up. So I think it was a good game. It was a good game. Just need things to do. Ekitike looks like a great signing. He reminds me a little bit of Firmino in terms of how he links the players up. Obviously, Ekitike and Gakpo had a really good link up and understanding yesterday. Same thing with Florian Wirtz. And even when Ekitike came off in both games, Liverpool looked a little bit more like not in control. However, obviously we brought in Chiesa. Now, obviously, I rate Chiesa. I'm not sure if we had maybe another striker on the pit, like another striker in the team, like an Isak, for example, or whoever. Does he actually get on? That's the only thing. I think right now we don't have a striker. So that's probably why he was played, and he took his chance, man. So that's good. But yeah, overall, I'm happy. We could do better, obviously, but you know what? Right there and then, it's about not losing the game, and winning the game. Salah's still at it. Ekitike shining. Our new signings all played well. Obviously, Kirkez had a bit more of a difficult time, but he's probably the one that might take a little bit longer just to adapt. And there's nothing wrong with that. And he's got a perfect coach and peers and players like Robertson that can help him improve. So yeah, overall I'm happy, and yeah, great.
Okay. Well said. See some. Do you guys agree that we won only because of a crap clearance, like Trudon said? I think at the time, my personal opinion is that at the time we were really pressing them, so it could have went either way. To be honest with you, but I think we were just a little bit more on the front foot than they were. But what's your opinion?
I think just quickly. I just think we showed, as soon as we were drawing and stuff like that, we showed that we can get back into it, innit? It's just a mentality that we have. Wouldn't go along the lines yet of mentality monsters, only the first game. But obviously it could have gone south because they were on the up, innit? They had the confidence and, the momentum was on them. But certainly we showed that, why we're champions. And again, this season, based on obviously with the tragic Jota thing and his brother, the club is very together. It's very together, and they're going to want to do something this season and not just feel sorry for themselves. So, I think we really deserve that. And we showed that we can, apply the pressure, and we got 2 goals after that. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about okay?
Like for me, bro, I think it's a little bit sort of, and it was an entertaining game. So it wasn't like a boring 1-0, whatever. It was like whole world watching sort of big game and that. But for me, I'm just a little bit worried about the defensive side of the game. Like Konaté, bro. Me and you have had enough chats about Konaté over the years and stuff, and you know what I mean? And we're still at the same sort of situation. The guy was scared to side tackle some guy who's running straight through us like butter, a hot butter, a knife through butter, It was so easy, And Nalante always goes on about that, like the way teams just run straight through us. And yesterday was that on their second goal, bro. I was so astonished. I was like, if I'm in Konaté's position there, I'd rather just crop the guy outside the box instead and get a yellow card, and at least it sort of stopped his energy, because the more you run in that sort of position, the more energy you'll get him to whack it in, bro. You get confidence. You're thinking, you know what, I've run all this way now, I'm gonna get this goal. You know what I mean, bro? And we never stopped his confidence throughout the whole run. That's worrying. Like, come on, bro. Konaté is meant to be a big lad, solid in that. What was he doing there? Daydreaming.
Yeah. We scored on their mistakes. They scored on some of our mistakes. That's I think the way that we could probably sum it up. Yeah.
I just want to add, how the hell did that cross travel all that distance in our box without one of us guys getting the ball, bro, on their first goal? Oh my days, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell there, bro? Did you see how long that ball traveled in our box without anyone getting a touch from our side? And Semenyo, bro, he just nipped in from the back, daydreaming. Our 3 defenders, whoever was in the daydreaming, he just walked straight in, bang, there you go. So for me, 2 blunders by the defense cost us them 2 goals. Could have cost us the game yesterday. But I always say to you, bro, we always score goals. You remember the other day I was saying to you, bro, even if Salah don't score, we will always score goals. Luckily enough, we scored 4 of them yesterday. You know what I mean? Hence why we got the 3 points. But I think it would be good if Slot sits the defense down now. Maybe get the Italian lad who's just come in and get him involved somehow. Because for me, he can't be worse than Konaté. I'm telling you.
Do you know what? Okay. Sorry, can I just quickly add?
Yeah, go ahead.
Slots Slot's subs.
Mhm.
I couldn't quite understand. Oh, I get it. In the end, Frimpong potentially, felt his hamstring, but
Mhm.
I was a bit confused as to why, why he made some of those substitutions.
Mhm.
Because that gave us more of a headache. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm just quite trying to understand. Even in the Charity Shield, a few of the times that he's made his subs, they could have potentially put us in a
Trouble.
bit of bother. Which yeah,
Mhm.
so but
You,
yeah,
you know what that is? I think that's comes from his cautious side of him. He's the type of guy who's he wants to play football. Like every manager wants their team to get goals and do this, that, and the other. But for me, he's got a cautious side to him, where actually instead of securing the game, it sort of hinders the game. So,
mm,
like timing wise, subs, position changing, whatever. Like for me, yesterday, McAllister was running the game. I think McAllister undercover was running that game, and we took
mm.
him off, bro, and we lost control of the game. And it was simple as that. The one guy,
Yeah.
McAllister,
What
for me, took him off, and he went pear shaped.
against Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, and no disrespect to those two teams, but we're still against Crystal Palace, for example. We still had a lot of time to go and win that game, and he was being a bit more defense minded. And then same thing here, taking off Ekitike, knowing that we don't really have much of striking options. It was. I'm just trying to think. You still got plenty of time. Why? What? Close the game.
Exactly.
That when the game is nearly finished, then you bring in these players. You know what I mean? I'm all for giving these Chiesas and Endos and stuff like that opportunities. Gomez. It was good to see Gomez back as well. But like maybe the timing of the substitutions, I think, was a little bit more of a concern for me. But hey, that's why
Maybe
it's
we're
I
just being cautious with McAllister. Like for me, Marque says that McAllister don't have 90 minutes in his legs. True. But the way he played the first half, he showed a lot of spirit and stuff. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just need that on the pitch. And I think when he came off, the spirit of that bite, because that guy gets stuck in McAllister undercover, bro. He's like real great and that. But for me, Gomez should have come on for Frimpong at right back. That would
Mm,
have been the swap I would have made. Because like he was saying something about hamstrings or something for Frimpong.
yeah,
yeah.
Um,
I guess the best way I could classify, or at least what I could say, was the reasoning is because of I played I know that they did. Arnie Slot did an interview with Gary Neville and Jamie and that side of the pond's commentators for the game, but he also did one for this side of the pond commentators, and that was for Tim Howard, the two Robbies, um, and Rebecca Lowe, and Tim Howard asked him a pretty direct question because he was trying to be political with it at first, and then he's just like, you know what, I'm just going to say it. Like, did you mean to do that with the bringing on Endo and then having him transition, like bringing him on as a right back and then transitioning him to the center or to the DM spot? And I will give you this for our coach. Our coach is extremely frank with his words, as in he's very honest with when you ask him a question, he's going to give you an honest answer. So he basically said, no, that wasn't the plan. Originally, like I said, if they could have, he didn't want to have to use Gomez. But because when he put in Endo, and because they still had some issues with trying to navigate against their attack, he then brought in Gomez, who he said he was advised that he could only get 25 to 30 minutes out of Gomez in that game. So he ended up bringing on Gomez, and we still got scored on anyways too. But all the same, he made a point of saying that, it wasn't my plan. That wasn't what we were going to do. But things happen, and I guess he put in what he thought was going to be able to possibly stop the damage. It didn't. He then realized that our midfield, he said it wasn't that because Endo was just so poor at right back. It was more so, excuse me, that we needed more coverage in midfield. So he had to bring Endo from the right back position to the midfield. So that's why it's unique, because I've heard people give evaluations on some players on some other shows, and they were critical of some players. And it's interesting because that wasn't the coach's take, was for different reasons, or his view of the game had those players performing differently than some of us in the fan base haven't had them performing. But that's as best I could give as to why he made that substitution. I don't think he was realistically wasn't even looking possibly to even bring in a Chiesa, to be honest with you. But it was just because we're so limited in our selections on the bench to try to get someone, because Ekitike, for instance, again, Ekitike, McAllister, all of them can't go full 90. And that was the unique thing. Let me just emphasize this one point too, because this was something that I think it was me and Alante, and I think JK was there too. But I was playing the footage of him giving answers. And again, this isn't in the press conference. This is in like an interview after a sideline interview after the game. And he was mentioning about how we've gotten all these new players and the likes. They need to gel and they need to get used to each other and the likes. However, one of the things that he said that was kind of concerning to me, at least, and this is coming from someone that does and is showing praise for Ekitike, but he said, oh, well, we got Ekitike late. Then he corrected his words and said, oh, well, not really late, but, early in the preseason. And he said that Ekitike is not 90 minutes fit. That's a concern to me, simply because Ekitike didn't play. Ekitike is not playing because he was in some tournament with some other team. Ekitike wasn't a player that was, on international break or something like that. He was with the club. He's been with the club. He's been with multiple preseason games. And like any other player, he had just ended his season from the Bundesliga. I don't understand why he's not 90 minutes fit. Wirtz is not 90 minutes fit. I understand why Mac is not 90 minutes fit, because he's working his way back from a groin injury. But where are we at with maybe some of what we're looking at when we talk about the defense? This is, again, my perspective. Maybe what we're looking at when it comes to the defense, our midfield, and how we're allowing for these attacks to happen so easily. Maybe, just maybe, it has a reflection on our fitness. And that's where it's like situational in to say, okay, well, why aren't these players 90 minutes fit? And I get the whole like Ekitike is adjusting to the intensity of a new league. I get that, Mark A. But at the very same time, like, they still play 90 minutes in the Bundesliga, right? I'm watching in the background here. I'm watching the Super Cup right now, or at least it's on. I'm not watching it, but it's on in the background. They're 90. So I guess Lucho should be possibly the best player on the pitch, be able to run circles around everyone, because he's what, Premier League fit in the Bundesliga. Like, what I'm trying to get across is, I don't get why some of the players aren't prepared to be able to give a full 90. That's all I'm trying to get across. And maybe it's not just Ekitike. It's not just Wirtz. It might be also because maybe we also know that VVD is working his way back from an illness that he just had. So maybe he's not 90 minutes fit. I have no real excuse for Ibu. But I mean, like, does he look 90 minutes fit? Not particularly, I just think that
Well,
again,
for
maybe it's
me,
5 days or not, whatever. But go ahead, JK. Go ahead.
For me, I understand what you're saying. But I will say it's like this, bro. You know, like water don't taste the same in every country. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And it's like with football, sometimes it takes certain players a certain time to sort of transfer their game over to a different country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some players is like bang straight away, they're on it. And I think hence why I've never jumped on any player who's a new signing on their back. I always give them their first season. They can do what they want. It's up to them what they want to show us. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to worry
Mm-hmm.
about words, Frimpong, Kirkes. Kirkes hasn't been great, if I tell you the truth, but I love his fight and spirit and the way he gets stuck in. And I think when he gets trained and coached well and how to sort of do it better, I think he's going to be a top player. So hence why for me, I don't worry about words. Ekitike, bro, look at that. He's a new signing. 2 games, 2 goals. Even an
Yeah.
assist yesterday. So everyone's
Yeah.
different, bro. I think everyone.
He was our
It's a
best
mental
player,
thing.
possibly. Yeah. One of our best players.
Yeah, best players, bro. He's doing well, and it's great to see Gakpo score as well yesterday. I just wanted to add that. All our front three all scored. Plus Chiesa, the fourth attacker of ours. So all
Mhm.
4 of them guys scored, bro. So that was great to see.
Mhm. Difference between Ekitike and Verts is Ekitike didn't look out of place, but Verts looked off the pace. Okay.
You know what it was with Wirtz, because he's a very sort of delicate type of player. It's going to take him a bit of time to realise that in England they get stuck in a bit more. You've seen it yesterday, like the way he sort of fell down a few times and stuff. I think it's just the strength difference. He's going to realise one day I've got to be a bit more stronger in these sort of situations when I've got the ball and that. And I think it will take him a bit of time to get used to that.
Okay. Look, Frimpong, hamstring possibly. I haven't heard exactly, but I know that the coach did say it in the interview. He said that Frimpong felt his hamstring. Not good again. First game of the season, and we're dealing with hamstring injuries. One of the other players that normally would play that position, Connor Bradley, has his own issues with those kinds of situations. So not promising. But what I am saying is, what's up with our fitness? Like guys, and this is going to be a long season. We were fortunate last year to get through the season with we had injuries. Don't get it twisted, but we still had we were still able to mitigate the injuries, I guess is the best way to put it, and have backups or players that could fill in those roles that we needed and the likes, and that made a difference for us. But I don't want to try to chance, I don't want to have to chance that again this season as to saying we're going to go, let's hopefully we'll be able to mitigate the injury bug and not be able to, and not see us get to the finish line, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, what?
I'm not too concerned, to be fair. Like when I look at our injuries, we've been okay. You know what I mean? He generally does take care of players. And remember, these guys have come. 3 of our players have come from Bundesliga. Like Ekitike said, that they weren't wrong about the Premier League. It is literally, it's not what they're used to, isn't it? Everything's a little bit slower paced over there, and you got a bit more time. There isn't in the Premier League, and I guess Ekitike, one of the comments on here said that the difference is one Ekitike and Wirtz is one looked out of place, one didn't. Ekitike,
I think Marquez said that. Yeah,
big up Marquez. He's right, and Verts, I just think is nothing wrong with taking time, and I don't think he's that bad. And when you look at his qualities already, they're there to see. His passing is good. He picks up these pockets of spaces. He's going to be even better. You know what I mean? It's just the first competitive game, really, if you want to include a game against Crystal Palace. They've got time to improve, and I'm not too concerned about their fitnesses. I think they'll be all right, and we've got players in midfield as well. The only issue, obviously, is with Frimpong and Bradley. Our two right backs have got similar injuries. The only difference is, I think, with Frimpong is he's having to do a lot more running back now than he probably did at Leverkusen, because he's predominantly more right back, and he's still got that instinct of like going forward. So there is potential in him, and he's obviously an explosive player. He's got a lot of pace, so hamstring is something that can go with these players if you're not careful.
Yeah, you go.
So I think he'll be okay. I think it might even be more precaution, like he felt it, but it hasn't gone. So they say, yo, you know what? We won't risk it. That's why they brought Endo in initially at right back.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, certainly. Just to cover him, and then give Gomez that opportunity as well to play a little bit. So yeah,
I thought better when Gomez gone.
Yeah, and I think we'll be okay. I think it's not something to be really concerned about. It's just more or less precautionary. And you know what? Why would you take risks in the first game of the season? You know what I mean? It's not worth it, is it? Long run.
No, not at all. Especially when the coverage that you have for it is a player like Gomez that's trying to recover, and you have the other player that normally would start, if not be at least the second option, is on the mend himself. So you have to be definitely delicate with how you navigate it, because we all saw that, Endo can fill in a pinch, but we wouldn't want to have to go an entire season with Endo playing right back. Let's be honest with ourselves. And that's coming from someone that rates Endo immensely. But for what the system, or what we're trying to get out of this system, I don't think any of us would want that to happen. And that's all I'm trying to get across. So,
but I think just quickly about Wirtz, I think Baz knocked the nail on the head about his positioning, bro. Like, he was in sort of positioning, like, wise, he's always in the best position. I think when in football, until you find your feet, there's a saying and stuff. I think Gravenberch, it took him time to find his feet, but now he's found his feet, he's sorted. And I think with Wirtz, he's gonna be a game where he just smashes it, and he's gonna be like, yep. And for me, I don't want to hear no fans moaning about it. You know what I mean? Like, bro, the guy cost 116 million or something, and if any fucking Liverpool fan moans about Wirtz, forget about it. Like, football's done, bro. It's a big move. He's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. You know what I mean? We don't need to add to that. Like, for me, he's gonna be great, because, like, for me, the way he sort of positioned himself yesterday in that game, he knows where to stand, he knows where to get the ball and that. I think him and Sabots, like, sort of work well together, because they're very, like, quick 1-2s and stuff. I want to see more of that from Sabots, like. And just to add, if you're going to play a Wirtz in that midfield, the other two guys have to work a little bit harder to protect him. Why? He's a small guy, bro. So, and they're going to know, the opposition, that Wirtz is going to be dangerous if he gets the ball. Hence why he's going to get battered a few times. And that's why the other two midfield guys have to protect him. I wish they work on that, where the manager tells the other two guys, hey, listen, lads, you got to protect Florian, because they're going to be after him. So I think that would be something in midfield I'd work on in the team, where Wirtz needs to be protected, so when he's got the ball, he can weave his magic. You know what I mean? So getting in the way. For me, Mane was the best at that. He can get rid of two guys on a pitch by protecting Salah, who's running through on the ball. Mane used to just get his body in the way of the other players. And I think I feel need to do that for us to get the best out of Wirtz in the future.
Okay. Red Armchair says, He agrees with JK. Let him settle. Any fans who spend most of their time complaining should take up a different hobby. Yeah,
Bang on, bro. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Fans who complain just love to complain, says Trap Joe. And Sabasla in person. Go ahead.
Yeah, they'll go to a Michelin star restaurant and they'll be like, "There's not enough salt on that." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's human nature, 2025. Human nature, complaining. It's a trend. It's a trend. It's horrible to have in your personality and that. But the more you moan, the more people watch you. You know, so weird, man.
It is. It's an unfortunate trait, definitely, but one that we see quite often. Like when it comes to finding scapegoats, we're gonna have an episode about that.
Oh yeah,
not gonna do too much, but
that will soon come.
that will soon be here. Hopefully, we can get to it before we get too deep into the season, so that we can be accurate in some of our predictions, as opposed to being just responsive to some of the already shouts out there. But let me bring this up. So I already did a ratings. I can bring that up right now. Bring it up for you. 1 second. Oops. 1 second. Let me just try not to reveal everything on there. All right. So player ratings. I'll give you my rating. Just tell me what your rating is, and we can go back and forth like that. Baz, I think we'll be back in 1 second. Okay. Yeah, Baz will be back. His computer is always updating on him at the worst times. Yeah. Absolutely. Bill Gates does not have any love for Baz. But all right. We're going to give our ratings here.
We can answer Trap Joe's question quickly if you want. Do you think if this team and the club would be different? I think so, yeah, bro, because you realize with Slot, he plays football in gears. He's like first gear, second gear. Then he'll probably go to fourth, fifth gear, where Klopp was like first gear straight to fourth gear until he wins gets 3 or 4 goals and wins the game. So that was the difference between these two guys.
Yeah, Klopp was like Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious. He'd be like first gear, fourth gear, you know?
Yeah, forget second, third.
No second, no third. Just like,
yeah, man.
Just, push down the clutch, rev those RPMs, and just get to moving. That was definitely Klopp's
yeah, but with that football, bro, you didn't give the opposition time to breathe and space to breathe. Hence why they were deflated and would take the game by 3-4 goals. No worries. With Slot, what he does it. He puts us in a nice position, like 2-goal lead and stuff. And he didn't think, you know what, let me go at the third and the fourth. So I've got a nice little 10, last 15, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about anything. He sort of jeopardizes his own sort of philosophy of how to play the game sometimes. And I think he needs to sort that out where you've got a 2-goal lead. Don't sit back there, bro. This is England. Teams will fight back and get a 2-2 or even win it 3-2. You know what I mean? You've seen some crazy stuff. We've done it a number of times. Hence why, for me, Slot needs to be a bit more ruthless. People say Slot's ruthless.
I don't think he's ruthless.
No, but he's not ruthless in the game.
He's
you
not
understand what I mean? Not in the game, bro.
It's not, when you go up against Slot, it's not like it's not like the whole heavy metal or kind of atmosphere. No, Slot's more like Dutch rock, or something, like.
But you know what it is? He tries to control the game, but then does certain things that make us lose control of the game, and it's a bit of a gamble for me. Like we're Liverpool Football Club, you know what I mean? We're not West Ham or someone like this, where you might occasionally beat teams. We're champions right now. Go full throttle, get the job done, and then you can bring players off that you think need a rest, or your regular players, because you like your regular players. You can bring them off, like your Gravenberches, even the Van Dijk, maybe, you know what I mean, in the future and stuff. Even Salah, bro. Get the job done quick. Don't make us wait until the 88th minute and wait for a sub like Chiesa to come on and win us a game on playing our first game of the season where the whole world's watching us. Could have got Messi yesterday, bro. Hence why I'm really happy with the result. I'm really happy with the result. 4-2, man. You know what I mean? 2-2, 88th minute, bro. Things went good.
Yeah, it very well could have. Fortunately for us, like you just said, we were able to like make the most of it, and not find ourselves already trailing in the hunt for a back-to-back title. That's at least how I see it. So I'm gonna give Baz 1 or 2 more minutes here to get see if his computer updates just yet. Let's see what else. Seeing what some of the people have to say. All right.
No, Kevin's from South Africa. Oh, nice
Yeah.
one, man.
Yeah.
That's good to see worldwide people, man. How come you end up supporting Liverpool, Kevin? I'd love to know that.
Yeah. I don't. Let's see. See if he gives us an answer. Well, I don't know if he's gonna get back in time. I was going to try to give him a little bit of time so he can get his.
Look, we can start, and then he can just recap like bang bang. He will tell us like Alisson 8.
Yeah.
Pong 7. You know what I mean? You can do it. That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's get rocking and rolling. Speaking of the devil, there you go. He's back. All right.
Speak of the angel.
Baz is back.
Speak of the angel.
Yeah. Speak of the angel. There you go. It's even better. All right. Let me get into these player ratings here. All right. Player ratings. So first off, I didn't rate any of the subs, but except for Chiesa. I didn't even rate Chiesa, to tell you the truth, but I gave him a shout. But let's just begin. For Ali, I had a rating of a 7 out of 10. I gave him a C. You can give 7 out of 10, or you can give a rating like that. You can put a 0.5 if you want, or you can give a letter grade. C is average, B is obviously good, A is excellent, D is below average, and F is obviously fail. So I gave Ali a C. The reason why I gave Ali a C was because I thought he was solid, as always. There wasn't much he could do about Semenyo's finishes. I thought both of those goals that he scored were excellent goals. But he kept his composure, even picked out Salah with a trademark long ping in the first half that should have been, I think, converted. He was vocal. He was commanding in the box. But you could see the frustration when your defenses are gifting runners 30 yards of space. There's only so much a keeper can do. 7 out of 10 is what I gave him. But he'll walk away disappointed in the protection he got, I think, personally, from his defense. What would have been your grades, guys? We can go. Let's go Baz first, then we'll go to JK. And tell us in the chat too what you gave Ali as well.
Yeah, you've hit the nail right on the head, man. Literally, I think 7 is a fair result, fair score for him.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what you said, did nothing wrong. He was there when he needed to be, and would be probably disappointed with not keeping a clean sheet.
Mhm.
But he couldn't do nothing about those goals that went in. Overall, Ali doing Ali things, really, isn't it? Really. So yeah, 7's fair.
Okay. Edwards gave him a 7 as well. What about you, JK?
Yeah, same for me as well, bro. I think he was doing some nice outside of the foot kicks to the defenders.
I thought,
Did you
yeah,
see that?
outlets were good. His outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was passing great, man. So for me, seven. Yeah, he let in 2 goals, bro. So seven sound.
Okay. Trap Joe was given him a 6. Okay. That's obviously 6 out of 10 or 60 or however you want to look at it. I know there's so many different ways that people always get on me about the ratings and, a 5 should be average and all that stuff. Obviously, 7 is average on this. It's a C for me. So this just in case you're wondering. All right. I gave Jeremy Frimpong a 6 out of 10. Frimpong, on the other hand, had a quiet game, in my opinion. He dealt with David Brooks fairly well defensively, but we didn't see the trademark surging runs. We bought him 4. He looked hesitant to bomb forward. Maybe that's because he was feeling maybe some tightness in his limbs. Also maybe he was just cautious about leaving space behind him, which tells me Slot's instructions were to be conservative, not to be progressive. So I gave him a 6 out of 10 passing grade, I guess, in the sense. Almost a little bit below passing, actually, but nowhere near the dynamic impact we saw in that Community Shield matchup. So 6 out of 10, which is a D grade. JK, how about for you? What was your ratings for Frimpong?
I think he did good things now and again. So for me, a C 6 as well.
Okay, simple as. Baz, you want to drop a rating for Frimpong? I see Trap Joe gave him a letter grade of D as well. Edward gave him a 7, so it gave him a C. Okay.
Yeah, I think 6 out of 10 is fair. I mean, he, like you said, he didn't do as well as he did against Crystal Palace. But I was led to believe as well that he felt his hamstring pretty early on. So I think he was probably restricted on doing what he can do. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't one of his best games. But he did what he had to do. But just not as great, you know what I mean? Not as, yeah. So I think 6 is fine for him.
Okay. Coplands gave him a 5. Okay.
Actually, sorry. Yeah, you know what? I'll give him the 6, but obviously he did overlap as well. He did give Salah, options and stuff like that. He did all right. So yeah, 6.
Okay. Next on the list. Now, before I reveal this rating, this is an early candidate for Scapegoat FC. Because Konaté, let's not be prudish here. Let's be blunt and say he was very, very poor, if not dreadful. From the very first kick, misplacing a back pass out for a corner. That was I don't even know what that was, to be honest with you. When he tried to pass it back to Ali, and it wasn't even remotely close to Ali, and ended up giving them a corner. And then when it mattered most, he completely failed to track Semenyo for that equalizer. This wasn't just a bad game, it was a liability performance, possibly, some could say. Real Madrid have been linked with him. We all understand that. He's got a contract situation going on. We all understand that. But you're a professional. Get your head in the game. Figure it out. Do you want to be here or do you not want to be here? That's how I say it. If they were watching tonight, I'm sure Real Madrid would be like, maybe we're not going to take you at the end of the year. But I hope that they only caught I hope that these were was just a blip in obviously Konaté's holding pattern. I gave Konaté I gave Konaté a 3 out of 10. That's an F grade, but I was going to give him a 2, but I felt kind and gave him a 3. Yeah. I think I was being kind to give him a 3. What was your rating, Baz?
Ibru, I'm going to give a 4.
Okay.
Look, it wasn't his best game. He did have a few little bozo things going on. But, you know, people could say maybe he's got a transfer on his mind or a Madrid on his mind or whatever. I don't think that's the case. But then you got to also look at even Van Dijk, and I know we'll go on to Van Dijk after, but like they've been heavily counter-attacked. You know what I mean? Like obviously the midfield haven't. It's put them under quite a bit of like stress in it. The two centre backs in it, and I think he played well against Crystal Palace. I don't know what happened in this game, but it wasn't his best game. So yeah, I'm not going to go out and give him a 3. I think on average, it's like 5 being average. I'm going to give him a 4 being just below average.
Okay. Edward gave him a 3. Coplands gave him a 3. Trap Joe gave him a 4.5. I don't know if Kevin gave him a grade or not. What was your grade for him, JK?
You know, I'll give him a 3 as well. Come on, man. Like, this guy, I like the guy. I think he's a cool guy off the pitch and stuff, sound. But on the pitch, right, I don't know if he's coming or going. It's a big worry for me. I always said this. You know, if a fee came in like 30 million now from someone, I would have sold. I'll sell him. You know, I'd rather play Joe Gomez there, bro. Sort your head out, man. You got a World Cup coming up at the end of this season and stuff. But you just won the Premier League with Liverpool playing centre back with Virgil van Dijk, the greatest centre back in the world. Like, sort your head out, man. Don't understand it. 3 out of 10.
Okay.
Like that time when Semenyo ran through on the second goal, bro, there was enough time there to get a good solid slide tackle in. You know?
Well, he didn't.
He didn't do it. There you go. You know, so for me, he's a defender, bro. So if he can't do that, other God knows what he's doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like that's the consensus is 3, if not 4. So maybe 3.5. By the way, Lucho just scored possibly the sealer for this game. Oh, big up Lucho. He did the oh wow, it gets me teared up. Yeah, the Jota controller.
Sweet.
Yeah, man, that gets me a little bit. But it's now 2-0 Bayern Munich over Stuttgart. I do have something at the end of this to speak on Lucho about too. It's good that he scored. I wonder if the individual that had some things to say about the player is still feeling the way that he felt earlier before this game. But we'll get into that at the end of the show. All right. Next on the list here, we are going to move on to obviously our captain, Virgil van Dijk. Virgil wasn't much better when you did the eye test. Okay, and that's me saying that, people. You hear it? The eye test did not send the message of good game for Virgil. If you were to look at his stats, he had a pretty exceptional game. However, again, they're stats. I get that. I'll even give you some of his stats so that you can kind of see what I mean by statistics. But But more importantly, he played Semenyo onside for Bournemouth's first. Yes, Konaté left him out to dry, but Virgil wasn't sharp either. It's rare to see him looking reactive, I think, rather than proactive. You know what I mean? But that's what we got yesterday. I would say he knows that we need better from him, and I'm sure he understands that. But for me, I gave him a 6 out of 10 for a D grade. What was your rating for him, JK?
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. He was better than Konaté. I think first half, Virgil was playing great. Then suddenly just had that little collapse in their defense. Yeah, go 5. I'll go 5.
5 out of 10. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How about for you guys?
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. I think he was better than obviously Ibrahim. Look, also we're talking about a defender that's is and probably still is the best defender in the world for me, and he is human at the end of the day. You know, he bleeds red. He's gonna have his times, and I don't think it was that real bad. Like you said, 12. His stats probably is a lot better than what
his
the
stats are impressive.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you his stats real quick then, both JK and Baz. 17 clearances. He had 17 clearances yesterday. He had 1 blocked shot, 2 interceptions, 1 tackle, 100 touches, 85% for his passing, so he's 63 out of 74. He was 1 for 1 for his ground duels. You might say, okay, well, then it's still maybe great. He had a bunch of clearances, but what else? 12 out of 13 for aerial duels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's pretty impressive. Lost the ball 12 times. That's not good, but still all the same.
That's VVD.
Yeah,
that's VVD. To be fair, VVD, you know, he's always impressive, isn't it? And you know, again, I go back to the covering of the midfield is exposing him a little bit more at the minute. Him and Ibrahim, and obviously, remember he had to do a lot of covering as well for, you know, Kirkes. Kirkes is still learning the system. So you know, I'm based on his performance. I'm gonna give him a 6. I think he was okay. You know, he was okay.
Okay.
You know what it was, bro? Quickly, Konaté's back pass to Alisson in the first half showed me Konaté's mindset. Like, why are you passing the ball back to him like that, man? They got a corner from it. You know what I mean? So it was Konaté. As soon as Konaté does anything like that, we know that guy's going to do some mischief later on in the game. And what did happen? On that second goal, he let them walk straight through. Even on the first goal, bro, he didn't come across to like get the ball. But what was he doing? So for me, he was definitely far worse than Virgil. Virgil for me was playing great until them blunders came from, you know, whatever. Yep.
Speaking of Kirkes, just ripped the band-aid off. I gave Kirkes an F grade. I gave him a 5 out of 10. Kirkes had the emotion of playing against his old club, and it showed apparently, or at least from my perspective, it did. He flew into challenges. He played with fire, and unfortunately, he crossed the line a couple of times. He had a couple of reckless challenges. A reckless lunge on Smith got him booked. Slot had no choice but to hook him at the hour mark. Enthusiastic, but still ill-disciplined. We've seen this before with young players. He's still very young. We get that, but sometimes they need to take a breath. You know, calm down a little bit. Take a breather. Take it easy, as they say. You know, alive. I gave him a 5 out of 10 for his debut, and I think it's plenty of lessons learned for him to pursue taking on the starting rank of left back for us. What was your ratings for him, Baz?
Yeah, he had a bit more of a difficult time, and that's not his fault. To be fair, I think obviously Semenyo's a powerhouse in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
they were targeting his side too. By the way,
yeah. I mean, it's against his old team, innit? He knows the players, but then obviously he's trying to impress as well. He's
obviously
playing
they
in
know him too. Yeah,
a new system, etc. And Semedo scored too. So yeah, I mean, he's got a bit to learn. Obviously, I'm not going to knock him bad for it. It's just that obviously he needs to learn quick because you've got people like Robbo and currently Simicas is still there. So there is competition. So, but no, I think he was just slightly below average for me, slightly below average. So I'm going to give him a 4 to 4.5, and that's only because look, Semedo was played very well yesterday, and yes, he could have got himself sent off a bit reckless challenges. I worry about that bit. That's the bit that we kind of need him to. We don't want him to like completely curve that, but we don't want him to. I don't want him to lose it, but I don't want him to like like go over the top. And I think with him, he's someone that could potentially get a red card and potentially a player that can get an injury because he's very committed. He's very committed, and sometimes he can get it wrong, and you could get an injury from that, or you could put the team in a lot of problems with 10 men. But yeah, 4.5 for me. It wasn't a great debut, but there's circumstances, and I think he'll be okay going forward.
Okay. JK?
Remember the other day when you was on about curb your enthusiasm?
Yeah.
Like, this guy needs to do that.
Curb your enthusiasm. So we need Kirkaz to be Larry David, huh?
Yeah, man. Bro, enthusiasm, I love it. I think the guy's fire. I love the spirit. I love the fire. I love all that. But what happens is, because you're at a new club, you're trying to impress the fans. This lad gets stuck in. He's impressed me in that way. Like, he's not going to bottle out. He's going to get stuck in, this lad. So in that way, I'm really happy we've got him. But I think with good coaching and good talking to, say, Robertson, Virgil and that, they'll see the game again and they'll be like, lad, if you do this, maybe it's better. And he'll learn from the other players around him. But for me, player-wise, I'm really happy with him. I think he's fire. It's just got to be directed properly now. It's good to see a good defender who wants to get stuck in. So I'm all for it. I think Kirkes, top signing. He's going to take a little bit of time just to get his timing right. Like that tackle he made yesterday, I'm like, lad, got a booking from it. If he timed that well, that would have been a great challenge. If he timed it well, but his timing ain't right. You know why? Because he's at a new club. It's a bigger club than the club he was at, and he's playing against his old club as well on debut. I'm not a big fan of a player playing against his old club. I don't really like it because something happens to that lad in the game. I don't know what is it. You know what I mean? So for me, it win a great game for Kirkes. But the bigger picture being, I think he's going to be a top signing.
Okay.
Larry David.
Yeah, I think the highest grade he got was. I think the highest grade he got was from me and Kevin that gave him 5s. Everyone else gave him 4, 4.5, 3.5.
Well, for me, his enthusiasm is 10 out of 10. It's an A grade. Like, you know what I mean?
All right.
We're not giving
away participation grades. Let's move on.
Nah, but you know what I mean, though, bro. Imagine he didn't have that fire in him. I wouldn't have really liked him that much because he's got that fire in him. I said when it's directed right, he's going to be a player. So it's good to see he's got that fire in him and that spirit that he wants to get stuck in. You know what I mean?
Well, the next player on the list is a player I know that you enjoy seeing playing. Someone I think that not only enjoy seeing playing, but you said that in your opinion he was one of man of match, but he's certainly one of the stars in the game, and that is Alexi McAllister moving into the midfield, I guess, right? So McAllister did his job. He got an assist of sorts with the fortunate bounce, setting up Ekitike's opener. But he also tested the keeper with a rocket from distance. He pressed, he battled, he worked. He did basic McAllister moves. Nothing spectacular, but he was reliable. So I'm going to give Alexi McAllister a 7 out of 10 for a C. I gave him a C grade. What would have been yours, JK? Real quick.
I'd give him an 8 because I think he was controlling the game when he was on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he went off it, he just collapsed. So for me, I'll give him an 8.
Okay.
7.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, I think I'll give him a 7. And exactly, you summarized his performance pretty well. So yeah, 7 for me.
Yeah, nothing super spectacular, but it was just solid. I think I've already been on record saying that I believe that this next player is going to be one of the more influential players of the season for us. He's going to be someone that's going to make a difference for our team. He's going to be someone that possibly gets a little bit more, not only recognition, but also respect and appreciation from some of the fans that have basically done him dirty with some of the things that they've said. Mr. It's one of those individuals that was on Sky Sports apparently just recently, but all the same, not going to get into it. With Sabassalai, this guy was spraying passes like, I don't want to say like Stevie G, but he was definitely.
Don't say it, bro.
he was doing some number 8 stuff. How about that?
Okay, that's cool.
Some of his long balls were sublime, opening Bournemouth wide open, and it's a big but. He was dispossessed, but before Semenyo's first goal, that was something that everyone or a lot of people have pointed out. I do understand that. That was him also trying to go forward rather than than be a part of the attack, because that's when we were trying to definitely get another goal. But beside giving the ball away, I thought overall he was one of our better performers on the day. I gave him an 8 out of 10. What would have been your score, Baz?
Szoboszlai. I think Szoboszlai for me will get a 7.5. 7.5 to 8. And he played really well yesterday. Yes, there are a few things, you know what I mean? And this is a very important season for him, personally, for me anyway.
Very important,
yeah. Because, obviously, we brought in Florian Wirtz. Wirtz is going to be playing it. We're going to be benched. So one of these players, got to go. It's either not go, but will be benched. It will either be Stogan, Birch, him, Jones, whatever. And he's the one that, a few fans were looking at last season thinking he could do better and da-da-da. And,
Some fans had him out the door.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the...
I didn't mean it like that. JK. I didn't even think about that. My bad. That was not deliberate. He's got
the energy. His passing, I still think he can do a bit better. Not saying his passing was bad, but I think simple ones, playing it off. There was a chance where I think he should have set it up for. I think he took a left foot shot that curled just wide, but I think he could have sort of slot in Salah for that. But yeah, overall 7.5 wasn't too bad. Just needs to protect the ball a little bit better, I think. And yeah, good performance.
Okay. Mark, tell us why you gave Dom a 6. It's pretty low. Go ahead, JK. Tell us what your grade was too.
For me, bro, at the end, I never really moan about players and stuff, but I did at the end of last season. I said Slot and Szoboszlai, you know what I mean? And I think Szoboszlai got married, had a kid, and this, that, and the other. he's had a great preseason. I think he's played pretty well in preseason, even though we haven't been great in preseason. He's done pretty well. And I think yesterday, bro, in that first half, he was getting stuck in. He was like making blocks, interceptions, and I like that. It was a different side to his game, getting a bit more involved. I think with Wirtz coming in, gave him a bit of a kick up the backside as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think competition sometimes is important. And I think Matt Wirtz coming in had sort of kicked his ass. And I think Sabotza yesterday, fair play to him, first half, bro. I think he was great. So I'm going to give him a 7.5.
Okay. I got the high grade for him. I know I got a little bias, so it is all good. All right. Well, then beyond Dom, Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz is the next on the list. Wirtz, elegant, silky as always, looking for that killer pass. He dragged a shot wide seconds before Bournemouth equalized. He made a handful of key passes. But again, there were times when he was kind of looked like he was out of place. He was trying to figure out where he should be on the pitch. Didn't quite dominate the game like we know he can. Subbed out at 2-2 for Chiesa because of his fitness, apparently. And you know the rest. It's ended up being an excellent sub. Good, not great. I wouldn't have given him as low as some of the people are giving him in the chat, but I gave him a 7. Gave him a 7 out of 10 for a C grade. Maybe that's me just being a little bit nice with it, but let's see.
Romantic.
Pick up top plans, by the way. Thank you for the subscription, for the sub.
Nice
Thank
one,
you. Welcome to the family here. Mark A gave him a 4. Trap Joe 7.5. That's more on the lines of what I was thinking. Trudon gave him a 3. Copland's a 4, but Mark A 7 is really high. 7's a C. It's average. So keep in mind, I know that some people have 5 as being average. 7 is like a 70. Like it would be like if you're in primary school or high school, or you would get a C, which is average. That's why I say 7. Trudon says 7 is way too high. I won't go with what he thought of him. Red Armchair supporter says 6.5. Copland said a 4 max. What was your rating of him? I'll go to Baz first.
I think he's still climatizing into the Premier League and the system and stuff like that. I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was great either. He did have getting acquainted to the Premier League. He's getting obviously people bodying him and stuff like that. But there is those little passes that he's still got. So I don't think it was that bad. I'll go 6.5 for him. So in my mind, it's like 5 being average. Obviously, I think he was above average, not great. Just below good. So for me, that would be a 6.5.
Okay. How about for you, JK?
I'm going to give him a 6. He tried to get involved and stuff like that, but positioning wise, he was great. Like the pockets, he was just sitting in and waiting for the ball and stuff like that. So for me, I got no worries about him. I think there's a different pace to Germany. Like when you realise how much times you sort of got knocked off the ball and that, it's going to take him a bit of time to get used to the strength and pace of the game. So I'll give him a 6.
Okay. Let's move quickly. So I want to make sure that we get everyone's ratings in. Next up, I think, is possibly one of definitely early candidate for player of the game, I would say. He was excellent in his debut. And I don't know why you can't make a super chat. I don't know. Maybe there's something more that I gotta do. If not, it's all good. You can make it next time. But I don't know why. Let me double check. But I'll look into that, Coplands. I'll look into that, and I appreciate you trying to donate to the channel. But for the next person I had on the list, I think this player was exceptional. He was basically the main story, one of the main stories. What a debut! He showed composure, strength, intelligence, clinical finish for the opener, perfectly weighted assist for Cody's goal. Looked like a striker who belongs at Anfield too, by the way. We spent a lot of money on him, but tonight he justified every penny. I gave him 9 out of 10, man of the match contender, easily, very easily for me. What would you have given? Let me make sure I bring this up too. What would you have given Hugo, the boss? Hugo Boss. Good, JK. You can.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I'll give him a straightforward 9, bro. Top debut game at Anfield. Got a goal, got an assist. You can't complain, can you, bro?
Okay. How about for you, Baz?
He'll get an 8.5. I think that's the highest I've given out of all the players so far. For me, he was the man of the match. I think he's having a lovely relationship with Cody Gakpo and Florian Wirtz. And you can see he's important for Liverpool because the last 2 games when he's come off, we've been flat, absolutely flat up front. He's very skillful. He's got the strength. He's got the skills. And look, he's played 2 games, against, like British, English players and teams. And he's scored in them and he's played well. He's given himself a very good account of himself. So, yeah, I think 8.5. I wouldn't go as far as 9, but if he just scored a brace, maybe it would have been a 9, and if it was a hat trick, it would have been a 10. So just based on the assist and the goal, and his link up and the promising side, it will be 8.5 for me.
Okay. Simple as. The next player I thought had a good game, actually. Cody, this was one of his best games in a Liverpool shirt, possibly. He powered through defenders for his goal, wasn't getting bullied off the ball like he was in against Crystal Palace. Finished beautifully, won nearly every aerial duel he contested, which I'm glad to see because he's normally not the greatest at aerial duels. He looked strong, confident, ready for the season, I'm hoping. I gave him an 8 out of 10 and a performance that should not be overlooked, I think. I think he was excellent. So I gave him a B. What would have been your grade, Baz, on that one?
I'd give him a 7. I know it feels a bit low, but he got his goal. He didn't do too much wrong, but there are times that I do get frustrated with Cody. It's not holding onto the ball too long, but you know what? Just make the pass a bit quicker in the box. You know what I mean? We can see what you want to do because he's quite one dimension. Literally like roll his player and then just literally bend one to the far end. And sometimes when you're playing on the deck, you've got to be a bit quicker with your feet. That's the only thing, but wasn't a bad game for him. I'd go 7.
Okay. How about for you, JK? Oh, JK is on mute, so maybe he is unable to give us a grade. No worries. Because
which player was that first?
We were on Cody.
Cody, for me, scored a nice goal. I'll give him a 7.
Okay, simple. Last but not least, there is this individual named Mohamed Salah. Pretty much, I know that some don't think so in the chat. Others have said that he was pretty much ghost the entire match. He had a couple of flares where he got an opportunity here or there. Did get a really good shot on goal, actually, early on, but for the most part, wasn't really the dominant Salah that we're used to seeing, pretty much. However, he did get his goal as usual. For most of the game, like I said, he was quiet, but maybe even frustrated. He looked like he was still trying to adapt to Liverpool's reshaped forward line, possibly. You know, he's getting used to playing with new partners up front. But the thing about Salah, again, is he only needs one moment, and that's what he got. And in the stoppage time, he delivered, shutting the door for any type of comeback for Bournemouth, beating defenders like training cones and slotting one home. That made him the first ever player to hit 10 opening day goals. That means for 10 straight years, he has scored in every opening game for us. That in itself is an amazing accomplishment. I gave him a 7 out of 10, but history will remember the record, I'm sure. Not the muted 88 or 89 minutes or whatever it was that he had before that. They'll just show that he has number 10 on that list. So big up to Salah. How about for you, JK? What were you going to give him with Salah? Or Baz, the answer is I think JK is indisposed.
Okay. I'm going to give him a 5, and that's with his goal. I think Salah, yeah, like I think you used when you're talking about obviously he's new, the players around him and stuff like that, you know, Frimpong and stuff like that. He should be doing a lot less. Like, as in, like, he's not doing a lot more running than he was before. Do you know what I mean? Now he's got great young players around him that can take the weight off him. But I think he's not quite firing just yet. Obviously, in this game, he scored that goal, you know, to give him a good record that, you know, scoring that, you know, in, you know, for the last 10 years, a goal in every start. But he didn't do a lot else. I don't know if that goal can actually just mask his performance. So I'm going to give him a 5. So for me, that's just average. But he was, before that goal, for me, was quite poor. So, yeah, 5 as average.
Okay. How about he just dropped out again. Okay. Who was your man of the match?
Me, yeah?
Yeah.
Man of the match will have to, for me, would be Ekitike. I think, you know, it's not like no one wanted him, but obviously he's come in, he's a young lad, just showing what he's very modest. I like him. He's a very humble guy. And, yeah, for a young guy, he's just come in, he's just, you know, he's literally doing well with the players that he's got around him. There is obviously pressure on him as well, because obviously we're talking about potential strikers coming in. He's just doing what he can in it, and he's just literally playing his role, scoring the goal, assisting, you know, having an understanding, fitting into the group. But based on the game, you know, he couldn't do more than what he could today unless he got a hat-trick. So for me, he was the man of the match, in my opinion.
Okay. I gave Chiesa the man of the match. Obviously, Chiesa had quite a bit of an impact when he got on the pitch. He was only on the pitch for all of 14 minutes. And he wears number 14. And and he got that important goal in the 88th minute. That's kind of wild, actually, now that I think about it. I just really thought about the fact that he was on the pitch for 14 minutes, 6 minutes of extra time, and then 8 minutes he got on in the 82nd minute. But anyway, I gave him my man of the match because, you know what, I just think that the sheer fact that this player who's gotten no respect, I think personally, from this coach in getting minutes, I also think that he's gotten kind of ridiculed by a lot of our fan base for not being the level or to the expectations that they have for him. But I just say he hasn't gotten the opportunity to even display that. Every time he's gotten on the pitch, he's actually displayed something, that made you say, this guy's got something. And we all knew that he had something even before that, but obviously he was working his way back from his injury. But I just like the fact that he's professional enough to go on the pitch and get us a result. And there was a lot that was going on through his mind and his head, some of which I think I will talk about in a little bit in my winners and losers section. But it was something of a thing to see. In this next section, in segment, I'm going to get into, like exactly what I said, some winners and losers, because we all like to call how we see it. The match had some real good players that stood out and definitely stepped up, and then it also has some players and moments that just really, really, really wasn't the best of their careers. So first up, I'd like to say Mohamed Salah. Shout out to him for his 10 goals on Premier League opening days. No one in history has ever done that before. We're talking about a record that stands above Rooney, Lampard, Shearer, Vardy, all legends of the game. And he did it with one of those trademark Salah slalom through players to get to where he needed to go. The kind of goal that reminds you why he's not just Liverpool's king, but one of the Premier League's greatest ever players, period. I'd like to give a shout out as a definite winner to Hugo Ekitike. This is the debut that some would only dream of. A goal and an assist, a standing ovation. That's how you arrive at Anfield. You can't ask for much more than that. What impressed me wasn't just his finishing, but he dropped deep, he linked up play, then burst into the box when needed. He looked like a natural fit. Absolutely a well-taken player, or very, very well-given player, and someone that really showed some true merit. Here he is, basically figuring out what exactly this award is all about. But all good. Hopefully you'll see lots more of those for you, Hugo Boss.
You know what, bro? Just a quick thing about that. When new players come in, you always want your striker to settle in first, if you know what I mean. Like midfielders, they'll settle in. It might take a little bit longer than that, but for me, strikers have to settle in first, because if they don't score on that, fans start moaning. So it's good to see him settle in straight away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Another winner that I had was Feddy. That's Chiesa, right? What a story. This was a player people had given up on, injuries, missed tour. He missed the tour, link of moves away. And in one strike, he gives Liverpool the win. He showed that football always gives second chances if you're ready to take them, and you have to give him nothing but props on the day. And let's not forget Semenyo. Yes, he's the opponent, but what a statement by his 2 goals. Excellent performance. But most notably, he was racially abused, humiliated by disgusting behavior in the stands. And how did he respond? With 2 brilliant goals that nearly sank us as champions on our day. But all again, I give him credit for the fact that he had the courage, the character to rise above, and he deserves immense respect and appreciation. And that's something that you probably won't hear too much of, but you'll hear it from me, because that's just how I look at it. Losers on the day. Now, for the foremost, let me say the biggest loser of the day, other than the guy in the wheelchair that did the racial abuse, has to be 3 letters. VAR. How this wasn't a handball, I have no idea, but not even 20 minutes into the new season, and they're already embarrassing themselves. The PGMOL is also, as again, looking more like a joke than a really established, respected organization. Marcos Senesi clearly handles the ball here. You can see it. Denies Ekitike a one-on-one. And somehow, and I do emphasize this, somehow, I shouldn't emphasize it because it's Anthony Taylor, by the way. But somehow Anthony Taylor gives a free kick to Bournemouth. Okay?
Yeah, man. What the
That's
hell was that, bro?
wild.
It was wild. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
What is going
What the hell?
on with
What
our
is going on
game?
here?
Yeah.
Like,
VAR checked
why
it.
did he get the free kick?
Yeah. VAR checked it. Michael Oliver. Also, capital letters, JOKE. Supposed to be one of the best, if not the best referee in England. Michael Oliver looked at this and confirmed it's not a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity because of the distance from goal. What the heck is that all about? Since when does the distance from goal matter? More than being the last man.
Yeah,
It's an
true.
absolute disgrace, plain and simple. If anything, the sheer fact that they are bending over backwards trying to give coverage to Michael Oliver, that's a joke, to Anthony Taylor, who's a bona fide joke of a referee. It's pathetic. Pathetic. He swatted at the ball, plain and simple. He's on goal, plain and simple. This same PGMOL gave a red card to Saliba last year at basically the same spot on the pitch.
Yeah, it was. I remember.
There was no, he's too far away from goal BS. He got a red card. So if that's the red card, why the heck is this not a red card? Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I'm going to have to give a loser shout to our defense. Konaté and VVD, we love you both. But you two looked like strangers in the night. Like, as in, it looked like you did not know each other. Kirkes was reckless. Frimpong, unfortunately, did have a hamstring injury that limited himself, but he couldn't impose himself on the pitch. This isn't nitpicking. I don't want to say it like that. It was open season for Bournemouth at times on our goal. Ali had to stand on his head at points. I'm sure he was majorly frustrated. And if Semenyo can do that, imagine what other players like your Ezes or your Sakas or your Hollands or even your Isaks, if we end up having to face him, will do against us. And again, let me circle back again. The absolute credibility of the PGMOL, you guys are absolute. The PGMOL, I don't know if the L stands for losers, but that's what you guys are. I'm sorry. When your own former referee, the head of the referees, by the way, Keith Hackett, who used to be the head of the PGMOL, calls you out publicly. You know that you are a disgrace. You know you've lost everything when it comes to debate. Because that's exactly what he did. The fans don't believe in VAR. The players don't believe in VAR. Now even the pundits who were trying to bend over backwards for you guys are tearing it apart as well. Because we all heard what Jamie had to say and Gary Neville. The Premier League has a massive credibility problem, and it starts on day one for us with the PGMOL. Something to happen with that. It needs to happen quickly too, because this is a stain on the game. All right. Let me get into these updates real quick, and then we're going to get the panel back involved. So let's keep it fresh. Let's keep it upbeat for my Reds out there. Because while the points were being fought for on the pitch, the club is still working off the pitch. With the Marc Guéhi situation, Liverpool remained very interested in Crystal Palace's captain, Marc Guéhi. Now, here's the interesting twist. Guéhi would be happy to run down his contract, apparently, if necessary, and then join Liverpool on a free. It's not that he doesn't want to join Liverpool. It's not like he's going to decide to go someplace else. If he's forced to run this contract out, the first place that he's given a phone call to is going to be LFC. So that's a positive. That's huge leverage, though, also in knowing that Palace has to recognize one way or another, this guy is going to be a Liverpool player. So Palace CEO Steve Parish doesn't want to lose him for nothing. So this could still develop before the end of the window. The question is whether Liverpool think they can wait long enough for him, or whether, let's be honest, what we've seen, which has been a pretty shaky defense tonight, convinced them to accelerate the process and get Guéhi in. Real quick, a shout. JK, do you think that we should, or Baz, since you came up for a mute first, Baz, do you think that we should give Marc Guéhi, we should accelerate the process and get Marc Guéhi in with the way that our defense performed? Do you think it's that much more of an emphasis?
I don't think, based on our defenders' performance, because I still believe it's an issue in midfield, but I'd like to have him in as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do want him this season.
Okay. Giovanni, I got another question coming up for you, JK. Giovanni Leone. Of course, we already have Giovanni Leone coming in from Parma, just 18 years old, highly rated. And unlike some, he's not being loaned out. He's going straight into Arne Slot's first team setup as an 18-year-old. That gives us 4 center backs, obviously Konaté, VVD, and Joe Gomez, and now Leone. But with Konaté looking shaky and Gomez's fitness still, even more shaky, I guess you could say, question mark. It feels like he could still be an upgrade of stability to have 5. I think we should go for 6, by the way. JK, do you think it might be putting too much on the shoulders of Leone to put him in as our 4th tier center half? Or should we should go for the young Moroccan player that Scouse Lee loves?
For me, that's a right fourth spot. It will be okay. I've got no worries about that.
Okay. All right. Surprising. I wasn't expecting that. All right. Well, then with Konaté's contract, look, we were just speaking of Konaté and the defense. Apparently, the publication Marca in Spain is saying that Liverpool are preparing a new contract offer for him. But if he doesn't sign, Real Madrid could obviously swoop him up for free at the expiration of his contract. After tonight's performance, you tell me, do we extend him or do we try to cash in on Ibu right now? JK, what's your opinion on that one?
I'm telling him today, bro. Wow. I can't deal with it no more. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wasn't expecting that one. Baz, how about for you?
I'm the complete opposite. I think we should keep him. I think if he signs a contract, great. He's still one of the best defenders around. Only reason why he's people talking at the moment, or people with their opinions, is because his head might be turned or he wants to leave. We don't know for sure, innit? But apparently he wants more money. And if he's asking for just the money that, that an A-grade centre-back gets in the Premier League, then you should think about at least giving him something close to that. You know what I mean? Maybe don't give him Virgil van Dijk money or Saliba money or anything like that, yeah, but give him a better contract than what he's got. He's still important to have around. He's a great defender on his day. So, I mean, why would we want to sell him? Why would we want to give him away? You know what I mean? However, I'd like him to stay, but if he doesn't, then I'd keep him until the end of the season and then let him go. Because, who we're going to bring in now, potentially, all right, Gahey, and we've obviously bought this young Italian. But the young Italian, I don't think is going to get many games. He's going to get games, but I think he's more a Van Dijk replacement. Whereas Gahey, I think he can cover both of these two. So yeah, I mean, I'm the opposite. I'd want to keep him till at least the end of the season. Give him the contract that he deserves, and I think once you give him his contract and he's happy, you'll see a better defender.
Okay. All right. I see. I was just reading some of what the chat is saying. Some of the chat is saying agreeing with you, JK. Some of the chat is agreeing with Baz. Okay. Well, a player that we had. Go ahead, Baz.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, Dustin, don't know if it's money. I think it's just he just wants Madrid. If that's the case, if he just wants Madrid, then that's a different thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, if we can afford to bring in a player or we can bring in a defender, then sell him if he wants to go Madrid. But Madrid are not gonna buy him because they know it makes perfect sense to wait a season and get him on a free. So there's no point selling him, get rid of him now. That's the case if he wants to go Madrid. But I've always believed that he just wants a bit more money. And if he wants a bit more money, there's nothing wrong with that.
Interesting. Someone just put in the chat what they believe it was. They believe that it was, let me see, make sure I got the right person. Give him. MM says he'd be happy if Konaté stays, but he thinks his head is gone. He heard it was because he wants a release clause. He has been offered good money apparently, but he wants a release clause in his contract. Okay. I don't know what that release clause would be. If that's the case, then the bigger question then becomes, what is the release clause that he is comfortable in accepting? Because obviously he has a say in what his release clause is. It's not, we can't just pick a number and enforce it upon him. One player that I wish did have a release clause but doesn't, and that is Alexander Isak. The saga continues. Newcastle left him out of their squad for the opener against Villa. He's apparently on strike, not striker, but strike, refusing to play. Liverpool remain the favorites for him for where he wants to move to. The situation is toxic, to say the least, up north, and it feels like only a matter of time before he forces his way out. Whether that's before the end of this window, if not by January, one of the two. I don't know if, considering he has, I think, 3 years left on his deal, I don't see this going beyond January, really. If it does go an entire year, that would be very, very strange, because I don't think that, you would have a player basically sitting out the entire year, and that would be detrimental to his career. So it is a unique situation. There was a quote that I thought was very interesting, and there's these last 2 points. It has nothing to do with Isak, more so about our own coach and Maresca, the coach of Chelsea. Just as some added spice, I guess, Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca fired back at Arne Slot, who made some comments earlier this year, Slot had this to say about Chelsea. He said Chelsea were good enough to win the league last year and should be contenders now, basically. He actually went as far as to say that he thought that they should have won last year, or they thought that they were the odds-on favorite to win the league last year. I don't pay it. What Maresca's response was, he doesn't pay any attention to what people say. He says, I don't pay attention to what people say. I don't play those games. Sounds like the mind games are already starting between two men who clearly don't rate each other that much, apparently. So it's very interesting to see if this is like maybe a budding rivalry or a budding, interaction of hatred between two coaches, and how it's going to unveil. Should be very interesting. Last but not least, before I get into the final segment, Dietmar Hamann, had this to say on Lucho, who just scored a goal, just won the Super Cup, the German Super Cup. And he basically said that Bayern are crazy. Let me repeat that. Bayern are crazy, and that Liverpool are laughing all the way to the bank. And that it's not smart business model for them to pay so much for a 28-year-old. I don't know what his motivation is in saying this about Lucho. I don't think that he does go on to say that he thinks that Lucho is a good player, but not exceptional enough to warrant the price or even the move at his age for Bayern Munich. Same team that just relied on a 30 plus year old Harry Kane to score today, and now a 28-year-old Lucho as their only goal scorers in the Super Cup. I wonder what is Dietmar, I think is how I pronounce it. Hopefully JK can help me out with that pronunciation. Say it again.
Dietmar Hamann.
Dietmar Hamann. Okay, I said it right. Okay. So Hamann's framing this as a win for Liverpool, which is a nice change from him usually dragging us into the mud in his comments. He's not exactly a Liverpool fan by any means. So it's not surprising that too much praise for another Liverpool player, because he doesn't think of Liverpool as being on the same level of a Bayern Munich. So, yeah, go bun yourself. Last but not least, I wanted to show some true love. I'll bring this up. This was what, let me make sure I show this in full screen. This was the image that we got to see of recognizing the memorial for our fallen number 20 and his brother as well. We can't forget the human side of this night because it was powerful. First and foremost, a tribute to Diogo Jota, Anfield United in song. The cop was roaring out his name. They sang obviously at the 20th minute. Salah was in tears at full time. It was certainly very difficult to get through if you have any connection or any bit of a heart, I think. Federico Chiesa, in his post-match interview, even said his thoughts went straight to Jota's family after scoring. He said this was his day. This goal was for him. That's the kind of moment that transcends football. I think it was beautiful. I think that you obviously saw both Ekitike and Cody both put up the 2-0, meaning 20, to represent and recognize him. Salah did the did his the chomping Pac-Man style celebration in recognition of the player as well. It was tough to get through, And I'd like to also give a shout to the Wolves, actually. Today, despite them having Manchester City to have to ward off, they remembered Jota in their own way. They say, we'll remember you when you walk in fields of gold. It was a beautiful, touching moment. They recognized him in the 18th minute, considering he wore number 18 for the Wolves. It was definitely a very meaningful and touching symbol that they showed by honoring our Jota. Really class move, and definitely a class player that a lot of us will miss. It's difficult to get through it, because I know this is our locker room, for instance. Jota's locker still remains in the locker room. It's got to be very difficult as players to see and be reminded for the right reasons, but also just be reminded that your friend, you're someone you considered a brother, is no longer with us. And I know we saw the tears flow from Salah at the end. Chiesa's message that I just read out. This team will every day they go and lace up those boots, they'll know and be walking out with Jota in their hearts. It's even difficult to get through right now, just in mentioning it, but forever number 20 for sure. Forever number 20. Let's do this real quick. It is hard to take in. Very difficult to take in. Oof. But look, it makes the actions of that individual even more abhorrible on a day that should have been a day of remembrance, a day of memorial, a day of reflection on a brilliant young man in Jota. It's 2025. I can't believe we're still dealing with this type of abhorrible characters in the game. It's shameful. I already gave credit to Semenyo and the fact that he continued to play on, and obviously had enough character to score for his team and give them a shot at winning the game, if not at least getting a point. I think he showed the perfect answer to hate, strength, dignity, and brilliance on the pitch. He walked off with the respect of every true fan, I think, in the ground, and rightfully so. But I just think football is about moments, people. Tonight we had a lot of them. We had moments where we were, biting our nails, wondering if we could hold on to that, to the point, or whether we were going to lose or even get a point. Period. We had moments of joy seeing Ekitike score his goal, seeing Cody score his goal, seeing the memorial that, again, which was a beautiful moment in remembrance of Jota and his brother. We had joy, we had grief, we had anger, we had pride. We had all these emotions wrapped up in one tonight. Chiesa having his moment of resurgence. And in the end, Liverpool walked away with the win. Is there any real reflection that you wanted to share with us before we end the stream here about the night, about your thoughts on the game or just the situations that I spoke on? Baz, what are your thoughts?
No, you've put everything really, really well, to be fair. It is difficult. I mean, when you look at how Salah was towards the end of the game, I mean, at the end of the game, these players are still in mourning, aren't they? And I just hope they all come together. They all come together and just make this a special season for Jota, for themselves, for the club, for his family. That's on the Jota thing, and obviously, goes without saying, that obviously our hearts and thoughts always with his family, in it, because it's very difficult for them. And then just we don't obviously tolerate, no matter what, our fans, we've been through difficult things, you know what I mean? And the racism thing is absolutely disgusting. And I really do hope, Liverpool fan or not, that's not really a Liverpool fan, to be fair. You might have the ticket, you might have been there for so many years, but as soon as you start disrespecting people like that, you ain't a fan. You ain't a fan of football. And I do hope he is prosecuted. If it is, of course, proven, because there is that side to it as well. But if it is proven and everything is correct, then this guy needs to be punished heavily. So that's on the racism thing. That's on Jota.
He also threw throwing, like I said, you can't throw objects.
Okay, so it's assault as well. It can potentially be an assault.
Yeah, I understand that it was only gum that he threw, so it's not like
it's still you throw something at someone.
It's still something being thrown at an individual. You have no right to throw anything at an individual.
Fair enough. And and look, at the end of the day, our first game was against Bournemouth. It could have been against Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, anyone. It could have been, but we played Bournemouth. We won. We beat them. We didn't start. No, I don't know any team that's their first game. They're just well oiled. Do you know what I mean? I don't know anyone that's like that. We conceded 2. Yes, we know we need to improve on that, but we scored 4. We've got some promising, performances by some players, some others that need to do a bit better. But we got 3 points. We move on to the next game. And that's it for me.
Okay. JK, you want to say something before we end the show here about anything that, any your reflections about the night, about Saturday? Oh, we didn't go into the scores and the likes, but we'll wrap up Saturday and Sunday together tomorrow in tomorrow's show.
Yeah, for me, bro, yesterday was a special day because of the Jota brother situation, and after what happened with the Palace game where they were booing and stuff, I thought, I can't be bothered to hear that again. I don't want to hear no boos, And but that guy, what he was up to, we live in a world now where you've got politicians who are just encouraging that sort of behaviour indirectly. Hence why you'll find them sort of things going on now in football. It's like, you're allowed to say that and do that. So I think he's been made into what's that word? An example. If you get up to them sort of antics at a football match, you're going to be sort of chucked out and you won't be able to come back again. So in that way, it's sound, not great, not good on the club. Liverpool is a club of sort of socialism, and everyone's treated the same, and everyone helps each other out and stuff. So to see that is very disappointing. But getting on about the game and stuff, bro, for me, yesterday was all about 3 points. We got the 3 points. Even though it was a bit tricky getting there on that, I just felt that 3 points was 3 points. So for me, I've got nothing to say about slot this Saturday night. It's the first game of the season, a lot of pressure, as champions.
Yeah. Shout out Realism Jared. Big up. Not even indirect. I don't know what they're talking about in there. Yeah, I'll say we've got 9 days basically until we go off to face Newcastle. There's going to be some big games tomorrow. Some really big games tomorrow. But at the same time, we are going to have nothing but the ability to sit back and enjoy the fact that we are one win in, one game in, one win in towards going back to back. Let's say it like that. That's serious talk. What is the question? What is your percentage of gold EPL? I don't know what that means, but okay. We have a gold. We're the unique team that gets to have the lion be gold on our kits because we are the champions. Only champions get to have the gold embroidered embroidery on their kits, and that's what we can do. So big up to us. Let us continue to wear that with pride, and big up to each and every one of you that joined us today. Thank you for joining us. A lot of you were with us from the very beginning, so that means a lot to me. Sometimes people will join and then they'll watch like 5-10 minutes, then they'll go watch another channel and watch another channel and watch another. They'll just like be flicking through the channels real quick. But there's those of you that stayed with us. It helps not only with the algorithm, but also helps with the ability to really show that you care about the channel for the algorithm. So big up to each and every one of you. Good night, Red Chili. Good to see you. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode to kind of go over what happened today, the games, kind of get a little imprint of what happened. We'll do a whole recap of Saturday and Sunday's games tomorrow. And if there's any news, I'll be sure to share that with you. But again, people, the biggest thing I can say is that each one of us represent Liverpool, each and every place that we go. We call ourselves fans, and we rightfully should, because we definitely wear our hearts on our sleeves. But as doing so, let's do it with pride, let's do it with class, and always, always, always show humility towards each other. We can all use some help at times. So, yes, don't forget to smash that like. Big up, Philip. Big up. Good to see you. Again, Red Armchair Supporter, good to see you as well. We will see you guys tomorrow. Shout out to Baz. Shout out to JK for joining me today. Hopefully they'll be available possibly for tomorrow. We can only hope. But if not, I'll be here all the same. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. And up the Reds, my friends. Up the Reds each and every time. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Peace and love.